Imagine standing alone beneath a perfectly dark sky. No city lights, no noise, and even no distractions. Only the universe itself. Above you are countless stars, ancient suns burning across unimaginable distances. Some of their lights began its journey before the first human walked on Earth. Others left their galaxies before our planet even existed. For thousands of years, humanity looked up on those stars and asked the same question: what is all of this made of? What is the universe? And perhaps the most important question at all: how much of reality do we actually understand? For centuries, we believed we are getting closer to the answer. But today, modern science has uncovered a truth so shocking that it changes everything. Because it turns out almost everything in the universe is missing. Welcome to MECHVORA. I am Hemant Prajapati, and together we are exploring the science and engineering behind everything. Let's get started. Imagine holding a grain of sand in your hand. Tiny, almost insignificant. Now imagine zooming into this grain, closer and closer and closer still, until the solid grain becomes to disappear. Once who appeared to be smooth now becomes a landscape, a world of molecules. Now zoom it again. The molecules become atoms. Now zoom it further. These atoms reveals an electron racing around the nuclei. Now zoom it further a little bit, or the nuclei itself reveals that it breaks apart into smaller pieces like neutron, protons and quarks. Now once a solid grain is no longer to be a solid at all. Instead, it becomes a dynamic dance of particles and energy. And this is matter, the substance from which every familiar thing is made of. Every mountain, every ocean, every planet, every tree, every cloud, and even every star. Every galaxy visible through every telescope ever built. The matter is the building material of the visible universe. It's the reason we exist. It's the reason Earth exists. It's the reason everything exists. That's what the scientists once believed. For most of the human history, the universe seems simple. Look around yourself. Everything appears physical. Everything appears tangible. The world feels solid. Ancient philosophers imagine the reality is made from some basic elements like earth, water, fire and air. But centuries later, these ideas replaced by the atoms, and then atoms were replaced with particles, and the particle physics revealed the layer beneath the reality. Every discovery improved our information, improved ourselves. By the 20th century, scientists felt something remarkable. Perhaps the humanity was finally approaching a complete understanding of the nature. After all, we had Newton's law, we had Maxwell's equation, and we have the Einstein's relativity. We were uncovering the secrets of atom. The universe seemed increasingly understandable, increasingly predictable, and increasingly complete. Or so it appeared. Imagine you are giving a task of weighting an entire city. Not just its building, everything. The tree, the plant, the road, and the people. Every single object. Now imagine you precisely measure everything you can see. Every visible structure, every visible object. And after the months of work, you finally calculate the entire city mass. The numbers seem correct. Everything add up, as so you think. But then suddenly you discovered that the city behaves as though it weighs 10 times more than your calculations suggest. The buildings draw differently. The traffic moves differently. Entire city behaves as if an enormous amount of invisible mass exists within it. At first you think you made a mistake. Maybe your measurements were wrong, maybe your calculations were wrong, maybe your instruments were broken. Because surely the opposite would be above. Because there cannot be an entire city hidden behind the visible one. Yet it's approximately similar to the situation the astronomer would face. But before they discovered the missing mask, they need to discover the visible universe first. And after a long time, the visible universe seemed simple. Scientists began cataloging the cosmos, the stars, the nebula, the galaxy, the clusters of galaxies. The observable universe appeared unimaginably vast. Yet, everything they observed shared one common feature. It was made from the matter. The atoms found in your body, the particles found on the earth, hydrogen, helium, carbon, and the oxygen. The ingredients changed, the structure changed, but the fundamental building blocks remains the same. This realization was beautiful because the atoms in your body were not unique. They were cosmic, forged inside the ancient stars, scattered across the space by stellar explosions, recycled through generations of galaxies. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the oxygen in your lungs, all it is originated through the hearts of stars. And in the real sense, you are made by the universe itself. And for a while, this seems to be the whole story. The problem begins when astronomers started measuring the universe more carefully. Science often advances through discoveries, but sometimes it advances through confusions. Sometimes the nature refuses to behave as our theories predict. And when that happens, something is waiting to be discovered. During the 20th century, astronomers developed an increasingly powerful telescope, and for the first time, they could study the galaxy in detail. Not as a fan smudged of light, but an enormous rotating system containing billions of stars. And then the trouble started. Because the galaxies were not behaving properly. The mathematics were correct, the physics were correct, the predictions were clear. Yet the universe seemed determined to be ignored. Something hidden was influencing the cosmos. Something invisible, something enormous. And within a few decades, scientists would discover evidence suggesting the planets, the stars, the galaxies, and the humanity, everything the humanity ever observed, might be a tiny fraction of the reality. A realization that would completely transform our understanding of existence. And it all starts with a simple question. How much does the universe actually weigh? And this question leads scientists towards the greatest mystery of human history. A mystery involving invisible matter, unknown energy, and a universe far stranger than anyone had imagined.